The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just talking.
Hi, Tom.
I'm trying.
We're live.
I was in Facebook jail for most of the morning.
Shame on you, Tom.
Every year at election time, some asshole goes through my Facebook page, like a week before an election. They'll go through my Facebook page and find anything they can to report to try and get me in Facebook jail for election day. The last 5 election days in a row, I've been in Facebook jail on election day.
But you're gonna blame someone else or yourself for this?
No, because listen.
Or is Facebook too sensitive?
You know,
is that what you're saying?
You know what they hit me for today? On one of my threads, I wrote, "How can you be so stupid?" That's it. That was the comment. How can you be so stupid? And if they're hitting me for that, I guarantee you, I got a lot more Facebook jails coming. But I submitted an appeal. It looks like we're in, so looks like we're back.
Yeah, you can live without
although
Facebook.
I suspect whoever it is that tried to report me is not going to be happy with that. And,
You can live without it.
right.
I mean, Facebook
You know,
is awesome.
after the bash this year, I was actually thinking, like, how would we ever do a bash without Facebook? Like, if Facebook got taken over tomorrow, or they sold out, or the app just went away from a lawsuit or something, how would we ever raise? What did we raise this year? $68,000, $70,000.
70. You made the 70.
100% of that was Facebook. 100% of it. We did no mailings. We did very few phone calls. All of it was Facebook. We got Baba Buzz coming up, and I expect Lenita to be doing that. That's it. He's off the show. I'm endorsing the mayor now. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. No Papa Buzz out of Manny. It's all over for him. All right, let's get this show on the road. What do you think? We got a long show today. It's gonna be a good show, though. We're gonna get into some substance.
Oh God.
Should I wait for
Are we
one
gonna
more?
be in trouble?
I'm in trouble no matter what I do. So
I wake up in the morning, I'm in trouble.
I stopped tailoring what I do based on what other people think. When I realized that no matter what I do, people are going to hate me, so I just screw it. I'm going to do what I was saying this to a very good friend of mine the other day. Papa Paz, right?
Yep.
Oh, he tried.
Oh, he did it.
He mouthed it. No, he didn't. He faked it.
Congratulations.
He faked it. I was saying this to a friend of mine the other day who was all upset about something I said on the show. What will they think of me, this person said. And I went, why do you care? Why do you care what anyone thinks of you? People who love me today, tomorrow will absolutely hate me because I posted something on Facebook that they disagreed with. And people who love me today are going to hate me when I say things like that guy on CNN that got fired, or MSNBC that got fired for what he said about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk would not have wanted that. And I'm against firing somebody based on what they say.
Oh, based on what they do outside of their work.
Right.
So it's like that Phillies lady.
Right.
She shouldn't have been fired. Not fair.
She should have been tired and quartered in the middle of town, but not fired from her job.
Not even.
Nobody should lose their job for something they do outside their job. It's a job.
But it's an emotional sport too. You know what I mean? Like your emotions are high. You see the balls coming to you, and then this guy from the other corner comes and grabs it off of your hand. Like, come on.
But she's a scumbag. She should be maybe banned
She's not a scumbag.
Banned from
the Phillies.
Banned from going to the games anymore. But she shouldn't lose her job.
No,
and the guy on MSNBC who said that horrible thing about Charlie Kirk should not lose his job. We have free speech in this country. Yeah. You fight bad speech with more speech, not censorship. And all these right-wing people, here we started today, and I'm already in a rant. All these right-wing people who normally agree with me on 95% of what I say are all in a huff today because I posted yesterday that this guy should not have lost his job. Listen, all of you, if you say that you're a conservative and you say you care about the First Amendment, that goes for people who say shit you don't like. In fact, that applies more to people who say stuff that you don't like. So shame on all of you. All right, let's get to our sponsors. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan here at the Paying Attention podcast. Hi atop the Golden Seal Apothecary, who, by the way, has never once reached out and said thank you for talking about us on every single show.
I don't think they've noticed.
I probably haven't.
There's nobody over there. Anyways.
But you would think that somebody would have somebody who watches the show would call them or go in someday to buy something and go, hey, the guy upstairs talks about you on his podcast all the time, but no. Nobody cares. Let's talk about our sponsors real quick. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. I did talk to Matt yesterday or the day before. He's going to come in as soon as the election's over. We're going to talk about the very crazy and very volatile real estate market. The Zanny Pesci Law Office, Morrison & Son Construction, EIS, Investigation and Gun Training, Tomo, and Shaken Seafood. We haven't been to Shaken Seafood in a while, so I'm going to have that on my list maybe this weekend. Clear Path for Veterans, New England, AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, W3ON, website design. Who else do we have? And a free shout out to my buddy Paul Lambert at Lambert and Rendon. We haven't been to Terramar yet.
We haven't.
No.
I owe you dinner.
So we should probably I'll pay. I don't care about that. But
No, I'll pay.
We have to go and try the chicharrones. But we're gonna have to order like 5 orders of them now.
But you talking about the guac with the chicharrones?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
well,
chicharrones are good, but they don't
have
give you
them-
like 10.
I know, but do they sell them apart, like separate, or
Maybe.
no? Maybe they do.
I didn't see
We
them
can
on
ask.
the. We can
Yeah,
try.
that's the best guac in the Merrimack Valley.
And we do have to go back to Blue. I want to give them another chance too. I liked a lot of what they had on their restaurant, but I'm still not sure if I want to give them a good
You want to
review
go
or
see
not.
the small waists and the big booties. You know you do.
All right, real quick, let's get to this. We have some breaking news. Do we have the breaking news soundtrack? We don't have a break. I don't think I ever sent that to you, right? Oh, all right, okay.
Is that okay?
Not really, but
No?
we'll make it work for today. So I posted this. God, all my days run together because I don't sleep. Either yesterday or the day before, I believe yesterday, I posted this. Why don't you just pull this up real quick? I posted this on Facebook. This is breaking news from the Valley Patriot. Joel Faretra, the Methuen City Councilor who represents the Central District, who's termed out, cannot run for re-election. He's only got about 4 months left in his term, has sold his house, moved out of Methuen, moved to Manchester, New Hampshire. So he didn't just move out of Methuen while he's an elected official, making rules for you in Methuen that he now apparently doesn't have to follow because he moved not only just out of town, but he moved out of state. And he didn't just move a little out of state. He didn't just move like over the border into Salem. He went all the way up to Manchester, New Hampshire. So I'll probably be running into him when I'm up there visiting my daughter because she also lives in Manchester, New Hampshire. We're going to have somebody keep an eye on him. You can pull that down. I did get so I posted this on Facebook yesterday. We got a lot of response in direct messages, but everyone's a coward. Nobody wanted to say anything publicly. Like very few people wanted to go online and publicly say how horrible this is. So I started calling city councilors and asking them what the story is because there's always a chance, and I'm an open-minded guy, there's always a chance maybe he didn't move out of the city. Maybe he got divorced and his wife moved up there. Although we know that's not what happened. But I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, so I called a bunch of councilors and said, what are you guys going to do about this? And by the way, why did I have to break it? Why did none of you leak it to me? You're all behind the scenes. You're all behind the scenes hiding stuff from the public. This is what makes people crazy. People in Methuen get crazy when they find out that elected officials knew about stuff and didn't talk about it until someone else brought it to light. Anyways, I digress. Got a message this morning from somebody who did leak me. Apparently, there's something going to be on the agenda on September 15th. I think this comes from the council president. Who's the council president up there? Oh, Ron Marchand, right? I recently became aware of the significant development regarding City Councilor Joel Faretra, who I believe has, and I believe that this is from Ron, but it may not be, so please don't hold me to that. Okay. Who I believe has relocated to another state outside of the city, and the state he is supposed to represent. The situation has sparked considerable discussion among council members, prompting me to place this item on this agenda item on the docket for the upcoming city council meeting Monday, September 15th. It's important to highlight that this situation raises serious concerns about potential violations of our city charter, an essential set of guidelines that we as council members are sworn to uphold. During the meeting, I will have an open floor discussion with city councilors who may have questions or concerns regarding this troubling discovery about Councilor Joel Faretra's residency. Then it goes on for the paragraph. So I just want to say a couple of real, very quick things about this. I have no hatred for Joel Faretra. So when I first posted it, my phone started blowing up from people who always, please read my column on page 5, it addresses this very issue. I get texts from people, why are you mad at him? What did he do, Tom? Did he drive over your puppy? Did he steal your girlfriend in high school? Like, why are you mad? People always want to impugn your motive my motive.
Based on emotion.
Anytime I say anything negative about anybody, please read my column, page 5 of the Valley Patriot. I get so sick of listening to this crap from people in politics who want to impugn my motive. Every time I post something negative about somebody, it has nothing. He didn't steal my wife away. He didn't run over my puppy. He didn't cut me off in traffic. All right. This is about Joe Faretra, not Tom Duggan. And the fact is, I've never hated Joe Faretra. In fact, I endorsed him. In fact, not only did I endorse him the first time he ran, I paid for his ad in the Valley Patriot when he ran.
Oh.
All right. I called Maria Fiato and said, listen, I'll give you a couple $100 if you sponsor an ad. And so I gave her money and she sponsored the ad. If OCPF wants to grab me for that, that's fine. So I have no hatred for Joel at all. However, this is the guy that sat there for the last almost 6 years and cried about the charter every time they recognized him and talked about how important the charter was. We have to follow the letter of the charter, the charter, the charter, the charter. This is the guy that went after Steve Zanni. This is the guy that went after Joe Solomon. And he's constantly talking about the charter. And here's something that really pisses me off. And this applies to, and I want to apply it to a friend of mine too, so everybody knows it's not personal. Phil DiCollegiero is one of the nicest guys in the world. I love Phil. But recently, he moved out of North Andover after being a selectman for at least 10 years, all right? And this always frosts me. It always frosts me in any community. You run for office in your own community. You change all of the budgets. You change all of the proposals. You change all of the environment of our neighborhoods. And then when you leave elected office, you screw and you leave the town, and you don't have to live with the rules that you set for everyone else. That always ticks me off, always. Whenever I see a mayor, when Kevin Sullivan was mayor of Lawrence, going all the way back to the 80s, right? When Kevin Sullivan was mayor of Lawrence 2 terms, and he left to take a job with the state, he moved out of Lawrence. And it pissed me off then, and I think I was probably 25 at the time, or 23 at the time. Elected officials who say that I care about your community, ask you for your vote, get into elected office, pound their fist every meeting on TV telling you how much they care about their community, and then screw the minute they don't have power anymore. Those are people that should never get elected to anything ever again. So I have been told by people who know Joel that this is not like he bought a vacation home. This is not like he and his wife got divorced. This is Joel Faretra is moving out of the city of Methuen, has moved out of the city of Methuen, and he moved last week. And so I called all the councilors yesterday, and I told all the councilors yesterday, why do you guys know about this and I have to hear about it from someone else? You're supposed to be the watchdogs for the public. And I had to find out about it from somebody else. Although I will say, when I called my girl, the sexiest woman alive, sorry, Lenita, Jana Zani Pesci, she didn't know. And when I called her and I asked her about it, she asked me what I was talking about. So I had to forward her what I had. Because she doubted me. She's like, what are you talking about? So I forwarded her the deed. So anyways, that's that. I already touched the Charlie Kirk thing.
When?
At the beginning when we were coming in with the music.
Not really. You
No?
didn't get it, like detailed and stuff.
All right, okay. Real quick, the people who are posting on Facebook and social media today who are posting a quote from Charlie Kirk. I'm going to see if I can grab it real quick. People who are posting this quote from Charlie Kirk about his lack of empathy or something like that. Let me just grab it real quick.
An elected official told me that last week that I lacked empathy because of the immigration crisis.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? That's because they operate on emotion, right? And when you operate on emotion... Oh, okay, it's about the second. When you operate on emotion, you're not operating logically. And you're not... By the way, Senator, if you're operating on emotion... What you're not doing is you're not advocating for your constituents because... Illegal aliens are not your constituents, just saying. So here's Charlie Kirk's quote that's been making the rounds. There's 2. One's about empathy. Here's the other one that's even more disgusting. This is a quote from Charlie Kirk that people are posting over pictures of him getting shot. And here's what it says. Charlie Kirk's quote is from 2023. I think it's worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have a Second Amendment to protect our God-given rights. So what he's saying is it's worth it to have some innocent people die in order to have a Second Amendment right. And now they're posting that with a picture of him getting shot, basically saying, without saying it so they can have deniability, because that's the cowardice of today's activists on both sides. They say it without saying it so they can have deniability when you call them on it. So I'm calling you all on it, especially on the left. This is their way of saying, he got what he deserved. Yeah. Right? He's saying that it's okay to have innocent deaths to have the Second Amendment, and he got shot, so he got what he deserved. And you know how scummy that is? This is how scummy that is. The fact is he's right. And if he could come back from the dead as a ghost right now, he would tell you that he's right. And here's the proof that he's right. Men died in the American Revolution for that right. And the men who died, the revolutionaries who died to protect that right, said that they were dying to protect that right, said that they were dying for our God-given right to have free speech and to be able to carry a gun for self-defense and the right to a trial by jury and the right to be able to call a lawyer and all of the rights that we care about in our Constitution. But the Second Amendment always gets treated very differently, doesn't it? When we have, nobody would ever say in government, you have no right to a First Amendment in City Hall, right? We'd never say that. Because City Hall is a public place. That's where you should have your rights.
Exactly.
But they certainly say you can't bring a gun to City Hall. You can't have your right to free speech in a public park. Oh, but you can ban guns in a public park? Wasn't that interesting, right? So all of these people who are saying this.
Oh, the people that are laughing. Shame on you.
Shame on all of you. But to use his quote to make it look like he got what he deserved. My father put his life on the line for that right as a law enforcement officer. My grandfather, who served in Corregidor in World War II, put his life on the line for that right to carry a weapon. My great-grandfather was also a police officer in Lawrence, Billy McMahon. Most people don't know that. We don't talk about it a lot. But he also put his life on the line to protect that right. Every police officer wearing a uniform right now and every member of our armed services right now are putting their life on the line, are willing to sacrifice their innocent life for your right to carry a gun and protect yourself. So, in a way, all these people posting this think that they're so clever with their gotcha moment, but what they're really doing is proving our point. Yeah. That yes, it is worth it to have innocent deaths at the hands of guns in order for the rest of us to be able to defend ourselves. Otherwise, we're China. We have no rights, and when China decides to kill 1 million people at a time by their own government, there's nothing anyone can do. All right. In the studio today, I have a good friend of mine, and I wish I'd brought the picture, but I was a little frazzled before the show. Juan Manny Gonzalez, sí. And he is
no
also,
R's. He has no R's in his name.
No.
Juan Manny.
Juan Manny Gonzalez.
No.
Oh, by the way,
R's.
Did you see my Greg de Rosario?
It's the R's
Greg
that get him.
de Rosario. Oh, sí,
señor.
This is when I become Speedy Gonzalez. Would you like to eat a big mouse for dinner? Coffee cup. And by the way, thank you for this, Greg.
They're matching, Manny and Greg.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the gray suit.
Same
looking
suit.
Good.
Maybe they borrowed it from each other. You guys are secretly friends? No.
I don't know. You never know. I've seen people that hate each other sitting down together eating, so you never know.
That's true. I'm a big fan of that myself. And by the way, any candidate who wants to, if you're running for office now, starting next week, you should be sponsoring this program. See what it says Tomo down in the right-hand corner? That could be yours. That could be your picture with your name, so-and-so city councilor in Methuen, so-and-so city councilor in Lawrence. It's I'll charge you. I'll do. It's supposed to be $300 for the month. I'll give it to any candidate who comes in from next month until Election Day. I'll give it to you for like $35 a week. How's that?
No, 40.
40? You want to do 40?
Yeah, let's do 40. All
right, we'll do 40 a week. All right, okay. Yeah. To my left, to your right, is a man who is a member, who is one of the very few people on the planet who has an Officer Tom Duggan Hero Public Safety Award. In fact, I believe he has 2, right? You have 2?
It might be 2.
2 award. I think he has the Scott Clegg Public Service Award and the Officer Tom Duggan Hero Public Safety Award. He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, going, I don't even know how far back. Maybe you remember, I don't. It's tough when you get old.
Since you lived on Farnham Street.
Oh, right. Since I lived on Farnham. Wow.
You still live on Farnham Street?
I used to live on Farnham Street, that's true. And that would have been in the year 90. That would have been 96, right?
That's what I'm got.
Well, I just went back to Kevin Sullivan, and that was 89.
I was 5 years old at that time.
Right, yep. Juan Manny Gonzalez, he is a hero firefighter. Not only is a hero firefighter, but he did something very interesting, and he doesn't talk about it a lot, so I'm going to in his introduction. Juan Manny Gonzalez with another guy named Wayne Hayes, whom I love to death, even though he's a left-wing lunatic. I'm a right-wing lunatic. He's a left-wing lunatic, and we get along, for those of you at home. He's actually a really good guy, and I love him a lot, Wayne Hayes. So Juan Manny Gonzalez and Wayne Hayes started a group called Heal Lawrence. And if you've ever gone online for a wedding registry to see what your friends want for their wedding gifts, they started like a wedding registry, only it's a fire registry. When after a fire, they go to the victims and find out what specific needs they have. Do they need a couch? Do they need clothes? And find out specifically what they need, post it online, and then people involved in nonprofits or just regular average people that want to donate stuff can go on and see what the need is and donate that exact item to help those people. It's a brilliant idea. I've talked about it a lot on this show over the last couple of years, and I think it's one thing to be a hero firefighter who runs into buildings. That's huge. It's quite another that when you're in your off time to go out and try and help those victims when you're getting no benefit, no overtime, no anything from it. So before we start, Juan Manny Gonzalez, you're a hero in my book. You've always been a hero in my book.
Thank you, Tom.
And I want to give you a chance to talk to. This was supposed to be a debate, and I scheduled this debate because the mayor committed to the debate, and the mayor bailed on the debate. And so this is going to be all time for Juan Manny Gonzalez. He's going to get the hour or however long we go over, if we go over. I'm going to give him all the time in the world he needs to get his message out. The election is Tuesday. It's 5 days away. 5 days? My long-time math, I got to count on my fingers.
Stop.
I think it's 5 days.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days.
5 days, or 4.5 days. Juan Manny Gonzalez is with us today, and he's been involved in a lot of controversy. I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself. If you've never heard from him, if you have no idea who he is and no idea where he stands, I'm going to give him a chance to tell you about all of that. And then I'm going to start asking just some basic questions that I would have asked if the other candidate was here. Juan Manny Gonzalez.
Well, good afternoon, Tom.
By the way, do you have any cups like Greg Rosario that I can have for my show? No?
No, I will talk to my manager, see if she can get you one. But right now, we don't have that, the mug shot.
All right, fair enough.
But good afternoon, everyone that's watching. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedules to listen, tune in, to paying attention. There is a lot of people paying attention to this broadcast because it was supposed to be a debate. And as we already stated, right, I want to start by introducing myself again, just because there's a lot of people out there. There's still people that want to hear more about me, to really get to know exactly who is this guy that's running for office. Well, I've been a public servant for over 30 years because I am a firefighter. I've been a firefighter for 29 years. I will be 30 in March. And I was an auxiliary police officer in Lawrence.
I didn't know that.
For 3 years, yeah.
Okay. Who's your chief?
Jackson, Chief Jackson.
Oh, Jay. Okay.
And Rooney, Deputy Rooney was the deputy chief.
Good for you.
I went to NERPI. I went to the part-time academy in Tewksbury. So we got the right to carry, to protect the city, do traffic and patrol.
Every firefighter should have a gun. I don't care what anyone says. Especially in Lawrence, every firefighter should have a gun.
So like Tom, I did go to Lawrence High.
Okay.
I did go to.
Do you count on your fingers?
I went to North Shore Community College. I switched from education to fire science because it's what we do. You know, you get into firefighting, and then you're like, you want to continue your education based on what you do on a daily basis. But Heal Lawrence is a program that is going to be almost 15 years, and that's indeed to me because even though lately people are saying that Heal Lawrence was dead and that I brought it back for political gain, then I got a quick message on that. If Heal Lawrence was dead and you have state delegators like the state delegation that's always doing great work, in the last 6-7 years we have gotten funding from the state, then you're sending the wrong message to the state delegation. You're calling them out because if they're advocating for money for my foundation, for my program, you're speaking negatively against those guys, and they're gonna remember that. So thank you to State Representative Francisco Paulino, who was the latest one. We just got $50,000 for Heal Lawrence. But Heal Lawrence is a program that I started because I went to Wayne because I saw people jumping out of a second floor, grandmothers, women, children, trying to save themselves. And that's when I said, what can I do to find out what these people go through once they lose everything? So it's been a pleasure serving these fire victims, and I will continue to do that. It doesn't matter in what capacity I'm serving. I will continue to support Heal Lawrence. while others have turned their backs on us, like Thriving Lawrence money was pledged to us, $50,000 to $75,000, only to later receive an email saying, unfortunately, Heal Lawrence is not going to receive any funding, but we created our own fire victims program in conjunction with Heal Lawrence. So our reply to that was, thank you for your intentions, but Heal Lawrence is going to remain its own identity. We have no intention of joining you on your new program. If there's no funding, you don't trust in us, then it's okay. We'll continue serving with the state money, which has been great. So that is Heal Lawrence. We have helped thousands of people. You don't see a lot of me hooping it up or videos or photos because it's not. No fire victims want you to be making a show out of themselves. When they are the lowest, I respect that very much. So you don't see me out of fire taking photos and videos because it's not the right place for it. So enough for Heal Lawrence, right? It's just I have to mention it because it's part of me, of who I am, what I do for this community. It's all voluntary work. Wayne Hayes and I do that. We don't get paid. GLCAC is our fiscal agent. They handle all the money, so we just got to do the work on the field. Communicate to people. We don't do much fundraising, so we depend a lot on the state funding that we get and donations from the people. So Tom, that's why when North Andover, Methuen, and other cities ask for help, even though it's called Heal Lawrence, we still help.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because we get donations.
That I did not know.
We get donations from other cities, so how can we turn our back on them? So we have helped people from other cities as well. From the general funding, obviously, because if it's from the state, we have to give it to Lawrence. But whatever we have in the general fund, we would help other people.
So what year did Heal Lawrence begin?
So it's going to be 15 years now.
15 years now.
So,
and about how many families have you supported?
It's been hundreds, probably thousands.
Has to be hundreds.
I mean, there are times that think about it. This fire on Lowell Street that just started, that just happened, you were talking close to 70 plus people. And it was one of those unique. You say, well, there wasn't that many buildings involved. Yes, but we are encountering more individuals.
As time goes on.
Because now what used to be a 3-bedroom family, a 3-bedroom apartment is a 3-family.
Yep. People are renting.
Well, I have a question about that.
Is, yeah.
I have a question about that because when I saw the number of people displaced, and again, I went to Lawrence High, my math's not that good, so I checked on my calculator, and I'm going to keep saying that because
stop.
You know
it's
how
come
I feel
a long
about
way.
Lawrence. No, it hasn't. No,
Yes,
it hasn't.
it
No, it
has.
has not.
At least in math.
No, it's come a long way since like 5-10 years ago. I graduated in 85. Kids say I'm not getting the same education that I was getting in 85, and they spend 5 times more money on education now than they did then. However, when I do the math and a fire like this happens and say one building burns down and 68 people are displaced, even with my Lawrence High math, I know that doesn't work. Why is the city, and what would you do, why is the city not going and finding and dragging these landlords in front of a judge somewhere and say, these people's lives were put in jeopardy. They could have all lost their lives because this building was overcapacity, not just a little overcapacity. 68 people were displaced in that Lowell Street fire. Why is the city doing that or not doing that, and what will you do if you get elected?
So as mayor, this is why you need departments that are fully staffed, that you have the people necessary to get the job done and qualify people to get the job done. And if you have members of whatever department, X, you can call it X, then I want to be a partner offering you the necessary classes, training, so that you can obtain your credentials, so that you can do your job, and then hold people accountable. Your ISD department, we will make sure that I work with them and I follow up with them, hold them accountable, and make sure that inspections are done and that we can find this.
I think my frustration is even after the fire. We never hear that a landlord was dragged into court because they found out from the fire that 68 people are living in one house. And I know that there's a lot. If you just follow Julissa Nunez even for 5 minutes, you know that people have illegal apartments all over the city. And there's a reason why they're illegal. They're illegal because if they have a fire, you have 68 people who are going to die instead of like maybe 10, right?
Well, my job as a mayor will be to keep everybody safe. So I have to do that to the best of my ability. But I'm just one person. We were talking about that earlier, and that is I'm a team player. In the fire service for almost 30 years, I work well with people, and I want to surround myself with others that that would share my vision, and my vision is to improve the quality of life of my residents.
You say that you're only one person, but you're going to be the mayor. You're going to be in charge of all these departments. You're the guy that could say, without even an executive order, just with a memo, get this done. Like, get over there. There was a fire last night. There was 68 people. Find out who the damn landlord was and drag his ass into court.
Well,
like, you don't need council approval for that.
Wouldn't that be the DA though, for something like
no,
that?
he's
press charges.
The DA does. If the DA doesn't know, if the police department haven't opened a police report, if somebody in the city hasn't complained to the DA, he doesn't know. He's in Salem, Massachusetts.
Well, I believe in processes. So whatever process we have to follow to keep my community safe, you got to do it. Yeah. So I see it. So no one has to tell me about what Tom is talking about, because responding on calls as a firefighter, I can see how people are bunching up in a 3-bedroom apartment because it's all they can afford. So what can we do? We are going to look deeply into it and try to reduce that. And I already identify. I know what the problems are. So it's just a matter of getting your team and let's go to work.
Yeah.
I don't have to learn. I already know what the problems are. Let's go get it. Let's get that ISD team. Let's get all the inspectors that you need, and let's go do it. But hold people accountable that they're gonna come back. They're gonna do the inspections, and they're gonna come back and tell you what it is that you found. When you have your department heads Monday, whenever you decide to have your department head meetings, then they'll have to fill you in on what they have, and you act on it. And like you said, well, based on what they bring me back, I'm gonna act on it. But I have to keep my community safe and improve the quality of life.
What do you think is the biggest issue, not among the politicians, right? Because that's just asking them means nothing, because they're all in such a bubble. They go everywhere together, all these ribbon cuttings, and they're more in and this is true in every community. When you're in the outsider running for office, you consider your constituents the voters. Once you get in, you're with the same people at every ribbon cutting, at every press release. After a while, your constituents become your colleagues. I forgot why I started that. Isn't that awful?
Let me pick it up. So
please do.
So listen.
First of all, I got to get back to the beginning, because that was my spill on Hugh Lawrence, right? And we ended up talking about X amount of residents in one structure. So going back, first of all, I want to say to the people of Lawrence, to the residents, to the voters, I am sad that I'm the only candidate up here.
Me too.
Yeah.
But that being said, I want to thank you for tuning in and giving me the opportunity. And I hope that September 16th and November 4th, when we cap it off, that you come out and support me, knowing that I had the best intentions and that I'm going to put together an administration that's going to represent Lawrence as a whole, the entire city. I am not going to turn my back on those of you that do not speak Spanish. I am not going to a Spanish station to give you an update when I know that half of the city don't speak Spanish. So I would find other ways to make sure that everybody gets updated. If it's weekly, daily, whatever it is, everybody's going to know what is happening in the city of Lawrence, not just one particular program in Spanish. You all deserve it. You are going to elect me. It's my responsibility to keep you informed of what's going on. So I am sad that I am the only candidate up here.
Me too.
I always run into a burning building. I am not going to run away from a debate. I have kept my word. I came to the podcast when I told Tommy I was coming. I went to the badge when I said I was going. I told them that I was going to debate. I have kept my word every time. Unlike the other person, the part-time mayor has not shown up, not to the candidate forum, not to the debate. So I'm calling you out. You're running away. You don't want to debate. You don't feel comfortable. You are acting like a coward. You're running away from this. The people deserve you to answer questions and face them. They're gonna keep that in mind. September 16, November 4, part-time mayor, they're gonna come for you because you turned your back on them.
Wow. You know, it's funny. When he was here last time, I was like, you haven't made any tough stands. You're just too nice. Today he brought it, right?
I know. He's always so nice and warm.
As much as I want to challenge him on this, that would have been the mayor's job had he been here. So right. I'm not going to challenge him on it. This is going to be his time. So the big buildup that I gave, and then I had a brain freeze, was to me ask you about what you think the priorities are of the voters of Lawrence, not the politicians. We know they have a different priority, but of the people that live in Lawrence, the people who are voters in Lawrence, they're taxpayers in Lawrence. Maybe they don't live in Lawrence, but they own a building in Lawrence. They're still kind of constituents. What do you think their number one priorities are? What do you think they want you to focus on, and how will you handle whatever that is?
They want transparency in how the local government is doing business on a daily basis. They want to know, they want to feel safe. And that's why my top three are public safety, public education, and public health, right? And I said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it again, but I want to bring transparency, integrity, and respect, and hold people accountable. And I believe that because I have been listening to the voters, to the residents, and let me say this, whether you're a voter or not, you're still important to me, and you are my responsibility, whether you're legal or illegal. If you live in Lawrence or you own a building in Lawrence, there's a lot of people helping my campaign that actually don't live in Lawrence, but they have their parents, their family members that live in Lawrence, and they care because they care about the loved ones that are still residing in this community. So truly, they want to feel safe, and they want to make sure that we're being fiscal responsible. When this administration came in, they had a pile of money on the table, and by now, it's either close to all being spent or close to it. We're not going to have another, I'm praying that we don't have another major incident so that we can get more money. I said it, this money is not renewable, it's not coming back. Let's be careful how we go about it. Let's stop creating unnecessary positions. Let's stop elevating salaries if we don't have to, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We didn't know that this president was going to be there, so we don't have any guarantees about resources that we had, that maybe we don't have them any longer. And when that catches you off guard, with a police department that's short-staffed, people don't feel safe. So I say, I don't care how many streets you pave, how many parks you fix. If people don't feel safe, they're not going to come and use them or drive on them. So safety is huge, and everybody's complaining now about what's going on with the school department. Look at all the letters that are coming out. I know the mayor is against Jonathan Guzman, accusing him and Lenine Roar of being the cause of why the schools went into receivership. Are you kidding me? That was 15 years ago. Jonathan was 10 years old. How are you going to blame him for that? He was probably 10 years old, and you're going to say that he was fully responsible for sending the schools into receivership. We knew. I remember Willie Lantigua was the mayor when that happened. So what's happening? These are the two guys that didn't want to be the chair of the school committee. They don't feel comfortable running those meetings. So if you don't feel comfortable, I know you've been watching my platform. I know you've been saying what I've been saying. So I truly believe that part-time Mayor De Peña is going to end up voting for me on September 16th. And then on November 4th, he's going to vote for me. I truly believe that.
Really? You think he's going to go and he's going to say, you know what, he's a way better guy than me, and I'm going to vote for him?
I don't think he wants to win. I think he's been pushed to run. I truly believe that there's so many people depending on him winning that they're pushing him to run. I don't think this mayor wants to run for re-election. I think he's going to vote for me.
Wow. So when you talk about money and what we pay people, let me just play devil's advocate for a minute, because we're dealing with the same thing in Methuen, right? They're not paying people what they could be getting in other communities, and they're not paying people in Methuen. And Lawrence isn't either paying people what they could be getting in other communities, or even worse, much less than what they'd make in the private sector, which means you end up getting an attorney like, what's his name? Hooten, Tim Hooten. You end up getting a guy who graduated last in his class, can't get a job in a real law firm, who does a tremendously horrible job, has cost the city all kinds of money in lawsuits. I don't know how many lawsuits he's won since he's come on board, but from my count, I think it's 0, but maybe I'm wrong about that. And on top of the fact we have a city attorney, and this I want to kind of parlay a little bit, we have a city attorney that we pay, an assistant city attorney that we pay, but then when a big lawsuit comes, we hire outside counsel. And it's not just this mayor, but it's all the previous mayors too. I'd like to see a candidate for mayor, either one of you, do a cost assessment on how much the city has spent in lawsuits, in settlement payouts, in losing lawsuits, hiring outside counsel, hiring inside counsel, overtime for inside counsel, expenses for inside counsel, how much money are we paying for their travel, how much money are we paying for their food and their vacations. I'd like to see a total, and I've asked every city council candidate to do this. I'm going to ask you since you're here. And I'm asking Brian to do the same thing. The public deserves a bottom line number on how much money of our tax money has been wasted, utterly wasted, on legal services that never should have happened had people who work for the city done the right thing. In other words, you get maybe a DPW director, a DPW worker who hit somebody with their backhoe, and now the guy's got to sue the city for medical expenses or whatever. None of these lawsuits are just because people just said mean things to them. All these lawsuits are actually from real things, like Scott Wood being illegally fired and then going to civil service and proving that he was illegally fired. These are kinds of things that cost the city all kinds of, and they're going to cost the city more. And I'd like to see you, like city council candidates, talk about the bottom line cost. I don't want it $5,000 for this and $50,000 for that. Bottom line cost on.
Well, it would be good to break it down too,
right?
because some things are.
I know it's a big build-up, but
let's do a forensic audit. I wish we can do it right now. I wish that I can ask and say, let's do a forensic audit right now that we're getting closer to the elections. But when we get there, that's the very first thing we got to do, Tommy, because if we don't do a forensic audit on our finances.
Explain what a forensic audit is.
So basically, from top to bottom, just like you said, through every department, all the expenses that we have to read with scope.
But did we just have that? Did we just have an audit? Don't we have a budget? Like, you ought to be able to go to the budget, take the budget electronically, put it in a spreadsheet, and then just sort out all of the expenses for medical stuff. Why do we need an audit for that? That sounds like a Methuen City Council answer.
Yeah, no, but I really need to do that, because if we don't do that, a real forensic audit, whatever's left, I own it. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I tell the people, this is what they left me to work with. So whatever tough decisions that I got to make.
How much would something like that cost?
So we will look into it. It's always looking out for the dollars of the taxpayers, right?
He's going to look into it. You haven't looked into it then yet.
Right. So we got to sit down. There's nothing I can do right now. Just be.
Sure, you can. You pick up the phone, you call an auditing company, you go, hey, how much would it cost to audit the city? Because when I become mayor, I want to do this.
Yeah, so we got to do that. We will definitely do that, but because we want to be fiscal responsible, and I want to touch up on the Scott Wood situation. A lot of times we say that was the best settlement. We saved the city money because instead of 150, we only paid 40. But if you did your job, your due diligence, you would have never hired him. So don't say.
Wait a minute. Why would you never have hired him?
He wasn't guilty.
Because not because of that, but because I truly believe that there was some. You should have done a background check on him deeper, and I know that was a political favor. I know that there was a political favor involved in this, because I know there was. So what I'm saying is this. If you hire the guy to then say, oh, wait, we cannot bring you along. Well, you already hired him. So he said, either you put me on because you hire me, or you fire me. I'll sue you. So he did. I can't fault him. You brought him on. You signed the contract, so he rightfully sue the city.
First of all, you don't do background checks for people that do lateral transfers. I've never in my 58 years on this planet seen a police officer from Methuen transfer to Lawrence or vice versa, or Haverhill to Lawrence or vice versa, and then they have to do a background check because they're already cleared. Secondly, he didn't do anything wrong. There was a bogus allegation about something that there's no actual chain of evidence to prove actually happened, and it cost him an election in Haverhill, but there was a political favor that was done, and the political favor was to Tom Duggan, not William Castro. William Castro didn't know Scott Wood. Mike Samad, who ran around this community, lied to everyone saying, because Castro appointed them, they must have been friends. They didn't know each other when I put them in a room. Scott Wood's a friend of mine. I saw that he got screwed. I called William Castro when he was acting chief and said, this kid got screwed. You're the darkest guy on the planet. They can't call him a racist if you hire him. Look into his background. Here's all the stuff that you could find, and I think you guys should hire him. He brought it to the mayor, and the mayor hired him. Because of Wendy Luzon and all the people on the council crying on Facebook and at the council table, Brian got gun-shy, and he backed off. And Tim Hooton told him, you can do this legally, because he got bad advice. And so I'm not going to defend Brian a lot today because he didn't show up and he should be here. But on that one, I feel like I need to defend Scott, and I know this is gonna probably mean that your campaign manager is not gonna take me to dinner afterwards. But Scott is actually not a bad guy, and there's no proof. If there was proof that he had done something like that, I would have been the first guy to report it.
But so I was going to the point, right? So if you felt that you could not bring this guy on, you should have looked into it before you hire him, before you sign the contract. And we have been doing that. We have been signing contracts and getting into agreements and then trying to back out to then say, because like you said, there's been more than one in which we have said we settled as a win to the city. I said, no, if you were not sure, then don't hire the guy in the first place and don't sign the contract, and then he won't be able to sue you.
But it's not exactly fair to the mayor. And again, I don't want to defend him too much today, but it's not exactly fair to the mayor for people to have criticized him when he hired him.
Then now hold him accountable.
And then criticized him when he tried to fire him. You can't have it both ways.
Then I hold him accountable for hiring people that are doing that kind of job and kind of on the same. You know what I mean? So this is why I would hire the best qualified people on merit to run this department, so that I trust that they're going to do the best job possible.
But are you going to listen to guys like Mike Samad because he said so? Well, are you going to listen to politicians in Haverhill because they said so? Or are you actually going to drive like Castro?
I'm listening to my team.
Castro drilled down on this, and as one of the darkest dark man on the planet, looked into this and said, there's no chain of custody that this guy actually did what they're accusing him of doing. He did get screwed. They took away his shift from him in Haverhill. Let's bring him here. He'll do a good job. He's got no racism accusations in his background. And then people like Wendy and Jalissa and the rest of the hate brigade, the hate merchants in Lawrence, went crazy attacking him because they believed, thanks to Mike Samad, that he was tied to William Castro, and that was just simply not the case. If it was, I tell you it was.
No. So when I speak, I don't have to mention any of those names that you mentioned. I've been a private investigator for over 18 years, criminal investigations, so I know my stuff as well, and I'm not going to brag about that. So what I'm saying is that if you don't hire the best qualified people, things like that are going to happen, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a DPW director, whether it's whatever department. You have to hire the best qualified people. And if you have individuals that are already there and you believe in them, then train them. Provide the trainings, the proper training, so that they can at least get their credentials and continue working with them. I got a quick message for the employees of the city, in particular City Hall employees. Under Juan Manny's administration, you could breathe again. You can breathe normal again. I am not coming for you, as this administration is telling you that when I get there, I'm going to fire you all. That is not true. That is untrue, just like they are selling all kinds of untrue items out there, stories on Facebook that have been divisive. When I'm promoting One Lawrence, like it says on the back of my card, One Lawrence. And that means not One Lawrence administration, One Lawrence city, where every community within Lawrence is going to feel included. As I stated early, this is not just Latinos. I am a Latino descent, but there's a lot of communities here, whether it's Central America, South America, whether it's Asians. They don't speak Spanish. So let's not turn our backs on other people that actually helped us get elected. Just take care of the entire city. One Lawrence. So don't believe this narrative that I am going to be firing people. City employees, I'm a partner. I'm a city employee right now, so I am not coming for you. Don't believe that. They're trying to sell it to you. So
let me drill down on that, though, because I want to get specific, because they always say that in an abstract way, and then when you call them on it afterwards, when they go back on it, they go, well, that's not what I meant. Jorge Jaime does a great job as the DPW director. Is his job in jeopardy if you win?
Jorge Jaime's job has to be revisited.
Why?
Because that's just how I feel. And I have to do that with every department.
Based on what? You have to have facts, not feelings about it, right?
Right.
Why?
Because I want more out of a DPW director. And I don't want, if you feel that somebody is that qualified and you're going to have to be asking for 2 assistants, and said, did we add too many employees or part-time or favor just to make it look like now you need 2 assistants?
Well, the way the city is growing, you need more and more personnel.
Well, look at all the construction projects going on, too. I mean, again.
No, I understand. And I said it. It's my palm card.
Would you revisit
to reorganize our DPW department, right? Expanding staffing and fix existing public facilities. So I am looking to that, but I have to look at all these appointments that have been political appointments. You have to look at them.
How about the police chief? Highly political.
So the thing is this, right? When
he just made Montas a captain, like of all people. Highly political.
I saw the mayor hooping it up, celebrating promotions.
Me too. That's why I'm asking.
So you can't have it both ways, right? First, they call him the whistleblower. They demoted him. Now they promote him. Who is gaining on this? You know what I mean? Is he promoting him because it's election year or because he deserves to be promoted? I like all those guys in the police department. I know that we have differences, but as a public safety
they're all heroes, even the ones I don't like. They're all heroes. Every one of them.
Especially my cousin, Davey.
Including Mike Samad. Like, it doesn't matter whether I like them or not. They're all heroes.
I have a great deal of respect for our firefighters and our police department. There's a lot of hard-working people, men and women. and I wish them the best. And I know that as a union brother, when I become mayor, I'll be bumping heads with them because they are going to be asking for stuff. And, just because I'm a union brother, I'm not going to be able to give you the world. But you're going to have a seat at the table. You're going to be respected. We're going to be We're going to be negotiating in good faith for sure. Not backslashing, no name calling. Like we got called greedy because we asked for a 1% hazard pay. Our job has changed drastically. But it was Willie Castro who said we were greedy. So I'll throw his name out there. So when people said, "Oh, you must be happy that that you have a Puerto Rican police chief," I said, "No, I have no reason to be happy just because he's Puerto Rican, because it's not about that. It's not about
I'm
that.
glad can we touch on
chief.
that? Actually, there's been a lot of
But he didn't answer my
separation.
question. Hold that. He still didn't answer my question, though. He had no problem answering the question about Jorge Jaime, but he skimmed over the police chief. Would you revisit the police chief?
Every contract that is signed in this city that is a binding contract should be revisited.
Okay.
Every contract. And you might come to, once you look at it and you sit down with the individual, you might find out that there's no reason to remove neither one of those guys.
Okay.
Not Lane or not Aguilar, not Jaime. You have to sit down and give these guys an opportunity. Unlike other employees, like some that just got canned, that Human Resources says, we don't see any grounds for firing. And they still fired the kid. This goes back to what happened to Mike Sweeney when city council said, right? The city council
Can't
said,
disagree with you.
This guy deserves his job back. And the next day, Mike Sweeney shows up to his office, and there was a police officer at the door, said, "You're not going to come in." We cannot pray like that.
No, I can't disagree with that even a little bit.
I wanted to touch on the Dominican versus Puerto Rican situation that's been happening. I know it's not coming directly from you, but a lot of your supporters, close supporters on Facebook and other social medias are saying that, if you're Puerto Rican, you have to vote for Manny. And I have, for instance, a friend who's Puerto Rican who's voting for Brian because, he's Dominican, and they're all attacking him. Is there anything you want to talk about?
He's voting for Brian because he's Dominican, or they're attacking him because he's Dominican?
They're attacking my Puerto Rican friend because he's
voting
voting
for
Brian.
Gotcha.
So they're saying, "Oh no, you have to be, Puerto Rico." Like they're making it all about being Puerto Rican. The same thing with Altagracia Maggi, who said, Puerto Ricans need to stand up together. You guys deserve a Puerto Rican mayor. But I don't see grounds in that. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So people
on the
were
separation?
people were trying to spin, and this is why I'm going to say it again. Juan Lawrence, and just because I was born in Puerto Rico, no one has ever heard me say I'm running for Puerto Rico. As a matter of fact,
no, I said you didn't. But your supporters are. Like, can you speak to them about that? Because
I actually think it's not as many as my supporters. To be honest with you, I think the majority of the people with that topic have been the Dominican community trying to wake up.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm going to correct you.
I am sorry, but it's been the majority of Dominican people. It's been the majority of the Dominican communities challenging the Puerto Ricans to wake up and saying, "Hey, wake up, you guys are lazy, you guys don't vote." And you know what? This is what I said to this group of Puerto Ricans. I said, don't take it personal. It's the truth. We don't like to vote. Why should I vote? Why should I vote? And I say to you, get involved. There's a community that is not Puerto Rican calling you and telling you, wake up and participate in the process like everybody else. So I'm saying it to you just like other communities are telling you. Don't get mad. Just go and do it. Register yourself, activate yourself, and participate. It doesn't matter if it's me running or whoever. Participate, not just this election, every election. We complain a lot, but we don't vote a lot. So do it. They telling you, like people like Altagracia Maggi, somebody well-known. She's not Puerto Rican. She's Dominican. People didn't know where that was coming. You got Sara Perez. You got Altagracia. You got many more. You got even Carmen Chalice. The question that I was facing, Tommy, how are you planning to win because the Puerto Ricans don't win? They asked me in 2013, where are you going to get your votes from? And I said, from every corner of the city of Lawrence. Dan Rivera was running. Lentigua was running. Marcos Davis was running. And I said, from every corner of the city of Lawrence, because I run for Lawrence, not for Puerto Rico, not for the Dominican Republic. So I want nothing to do with Puerto Rico versus the Dominican Republic. This is why I keep saying that the powers that be have found a way to divide us into smaller groups so that they can control us. We cannot allow that. Let's stand together September 16 and November 4, and let's vote as Laurentians. Forget about that. Let's vote as Laurentians. Forget about me, where I was born. Vote as Laurentians, please.
I am so enjoying this conversation, and let me tell you why, just to step back for a little bit. All we hear in the national media is about white supremacy and racism. And all the racism in America is a white disease. We hear from all the Harvard types about how racism is a white disease. And I've said for 30 years that if you want to know if the national average is full of shit or not, look at Lawrence, Massachusetts for your answer 100% of the time. Because now we have a city like Lawrence that is vast majority, well over 60% are Dominican, right? There's another smaller percent that's Puerto Rican. This much of white people, and like there's 5 white people left. My parents 5%. Are 2 of them, right? And yet the accusations of racism have not gone away in Lawrence. Even the white people don't control it anymore. It's Dominican versus Puerto Rican, and this is a message for everybody when the race issue comes up. I always tell this story when I'm sitting with my Dominican friends and they're drinking a little bit and they get a little saucy. They always somehow refer to the Puerto Ricans as, those Puerto Ricans, they take being an American citizen for granted. They come here. They don't have to fight to get here. And then when I'm hanging out with my Puerto Rican friends, I'm getting those Dominicans, they sneak in illegally. They're all dealing drugs. They're all so horrible. But the one thing they both agree on, white people are racist. And I just want to point out today again that the racism in Lawrence that goes on, where it does go on, not saying that this is particularly racist, I don't think it is, but the accusations of racism not going on among white people and non-white people, it's not white supremacy, it's Dominican versus Puerto Rican. And if 100 years from now, the population of Lawrence is Chinese versus Laotian, it's still going to be a charge of racism because you'll never get rid of it.
Well, that's been the case recently, Tom. It's been like a new thing because ever since Manny started, it was never about, are you Puerto Rican, are you Dominican?
Right.
But recently there has
Willie
been a push.
started that. Willie started
there
that,
has
actually.
been, but this campaign, there has been a push recently when it's like, Puerto Ricans have to vote for the Puerto Ricans and you're voting for Brian because you're Dominican, like that sort of, back and forth. And I wanted him to clarify that because
I think
it's separating. And it's,
No, so I truly want to ask right here, live, for everybody that's listening and listening and watching, please just come together. I truly believe that the Dominican community, which is the largest, they're with me. They are with me, and I need you. I need you. I need every community that make up this beautiful city of Lawrence that has given me so much. And the fact that my in-laws, right, my son-in-law, Greg Dustin, my daughter-in-law, Erin Murphy, and my daughter-in-law, Valerie Van Hosen, and my grandkids are half and half white and half Puerto Rican.
Nice Irish names.
I don't want my grandkids to be discriminated in any way because they're light skinned with blue eyes. So we don't talk about that in the house, and I would not talk about that here. And if there's anybody, any followers, any sympathizers, any volunteers that get into this topic, they probably don't do it with malice. They, on both sides, they talk about it. But I really want you to remember, let's do this for Lawrence. Let's bring decency, integrity, and respect back into the local government, and let's do it for Lawrence. Let me run as a Laurentian. You don't hear me saying, I'm going to bring all kinds of dignitaries from Puerto Rico so they can help me win. On the other side, you see it. The Dominican president is coming next week.
Yes.
It's always been people bringing people from DR, making arrangements from DR. So be it. So I'm not going to do that. And if he's doing it, he has his reasons, his motives. I want to continue to work with every community that's here, including we bring firefighters from the Dominican Republic to train. And I tell people here, what a beautiful thing that we do this. And if we ever go on vacation and you need the firefighters there, they would be well trained by us. And I would do that with any country that wants to come in here. So we will sign agreements like that. But you don't hear me trying to turn Lawrence, Massachusetts into Maunabo, Puerto Rico, where I was born. So I love Lawrence. I want to do this for Lawrence, and I need you to come out and vote. So if you visit manyforlawrence.com, you can learn more about us and how you can be a volunteer, or you can call me at 978-620-6863. I really want to do this. I want to make the city safer. And just remember this. To run for mayor or to be the mayor, you have to have respect. And when you run away from people that want to hear about you, then you have no respect for you. You don't respect the people that elected you. You don't respect your other candidates that are running for your seat. So the people are going to remember that. You could be doing a lot of good things. People don't see it. We just got to be. Let's do all these things with a strategic plan. Even the road paving, Tom, it's not about breaking records of how many streets we can pave. You do that with a strategic plan so that when a street is paved, you don't have to break it up again or dig it up after because you forgot to do the piping the water, gas, whatever it is. It's not about breaking records of how many roads you do. You just got to do what needs to be done, and it's not all a show.
Yeah. Well, we want to say hi to everyone who's on the chat. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Make sure you like.
I love that
and you share.
Maggi is here. I love her.
Dave Consoli is here. He's upset.
He's upset. He should be upset. He was supposed to send me a column for this paper, and he never did.
No way.
Yep.
Well, we missed him at the bash. So we have John Regal. We got Gloribel Gonzalez, Randy Carter, Nelson Vega, Caraballo, John Savastano, Sheila Arias, Milagros, Aleluya, and we have Sígueme Iván.
Sheila Arias is here.
Hi, Luis Robles. How are you? You know who that is?
Yeah,
Sheila Arias, and we have Sai Uliano.
Sai's a good guy.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Luis Robles is one of my candidates. I want everyone to vote for him, please.
So before you go on,
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I will invite somebody that you like to do an audit.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Can we invite Diana DiSoglia in the city to see
So here's how that works. I found out in Salisbury that this works a little differently than most people think it is. So I went to Suzanne Bump before Diana got elected, and I said, can we get an audit of Salisbury? We know they're stealing money. And we had proof they were stealing money. And Suzanne Bump called me and said, let's have lunch. I want to explain to you how this works. And here's how she explained it to me. The city council would have to vote for it. The mayor would have to sign off on it, and you would need a hometown representative to carry it through the legislature to have no, actually, I think that's wrong. I think the state rep doesn't have to, but the city council has to vote on it, and the mayor has to approve it. To ask the auditor to come in. So as mayor, you couldn't just do it, and if someone's like a department head or a member of the press like me, we can't ask for one. But it would have to be an official act of the city to ask Diana DiSoglia to come in and do an audit. And then I guarantee you she would love to come into Lawrence and expose some of the stuff that's going on.
So that's why it's nice to have...
No matter whose fault it is.
So that's why it's good to have a good relationship, a good working relationship with the mayor and the city councilors. It's not about owning them, being rubber stamps, but if you treat them with respect, you can agree to disagree.
Well, let's talk about the council a little bit.
So let's agree to disagree. But I would never, city councilors that are watching, candidates, you would never find me calling you out, calling you little kid, calling you words that are demeaning, calling you circus monkeys. You would not find me disrespecting any elected official, and I pledge to that.
Well, that's too bad, because that's my next question. So I guess he just answered it.
Hi, Gabby. Hi, Lizzie, and Stephanie Infante are watching.
I love Stephanie. So I have a problem here, and my problem is this. As somebody who's not a Lawrence resident, however, as somebody who pays a lot of state taxes that go into Lawrence, Fidelina Santiago committed voter fraud to get the job that she had. And for 2 years, she sat on that council, and her colleagues knew what happened. Even after she was arrested, they knew what was going on. Never once did they censure her. Never once did the council president say, I'm not going to recognize you. Your job is illegitimate. You literally stole votes to sit here. And they did that, and they didn't do that. They didn't call her out, even after she was arrested, even after she was convicted. The strongest statement I've seen was from Anna Levy and you as far as what Fidelina did in condemning what she did. Now, I'm not condemning her as a person. I'm not saying she's a bad person. But what she did was wrong. And sitting there and voting for 2 years was wrong. And the council president not saying, hey, we should censure her, not let her put anything on the agenda. She can still vote because she's elected. But we're not going to recognize her at the table. We're not going to let her put anything on the agenda while all this is going through the process because we know what happened. She got a free pass from everyone until Anna Levy and you spoke up, both of you on two different sides, spoke up. And so my frustration is that, and I want to know as mayor, when it's a friend, when it's an ally, when it's someone who supports you, are you going to be willing to do that? Are you going to be willing to call these people out? Because I did not see any leadership at all on that council for the 2 years. They were doing selfies with her like she was like, she legitimately sat on that council. They let her vote. They let councilors, you let her vote on vote by mail at the council table when she committed fraud in vote by mail. You allowed that. That's on you guys.
So I would not let, just because of a friend, of somebody who supports me, if I knew something is wrong, you bet that I would be dealing with it. At the forum the other day, which you're not a fan of, they asked the question, competency versus loyalty. And I said, listen, let me give you a quick example. they offered me the fire chief's job to get me out of the race, and I said no.
Wait a minute.
So I don't have a price.
The mayor offered you the fire chief's job?
The mayor supposedly made a comment to somebody that he did, but he didn't. The mayor, I'm going to make this clear. So if he tells somebody that he offered me the job, because they were trying to spin it as, how can I be running for mayor if I wasn't qualified to be fire chief? I said, I never really care about the fire chief's job, and I never prepared myself to be that. Doesn't mean that I'm not capable of doing it. I respect processes. So for them, it was his chief of staff, former chief of staff, who offered me the job, and then they try to use it. So he must have leaked something to somebody else to ask me that question, because him and I were the only ones that knew it. But I knew that the offer was to get me off the race. And then they try to say,
when did this happen?
They said that they offered me the job back in 2023, and it's wrong.
Okay.
It was May 10th of 2024 at 7:58 at night from church.
Oh, wow.
So, and I said, that's a disrespect. But they were not going to get me off this race because I don't have a price. I feel that I'm the best candidate running here because I have the best intentions. I know I can put an administration that's going to represent Lawrence, that's going to be looking out for the taxpayers' money. Build a website that transparency, that you can actually go in there and see with the finances, every dollar that comes into the city, how it's spent. People should be able to go in there and look at it and not have to come and ask me. If you do that, if you're transparent with people, you make your job that much easier because then people don't have to be on you all the way digging or FOIA requests. Where is this?
I mean, it is a public thing, but you have to ask to be able to view it.
Correct.
But that can also have some backlash because there might be some expenses, like maintenance expenses, that people don't understand how things work, and they're gonna say, "Oh, they're spending like $3,000 on toilet paper," not understanding the different schools, not understanding that view. But I mean, I get.
Well,
get what you're saying.
so honesty and transparency is big because if you look at the other day we were at the forum, the mayor was doing a live video in front of City Hall, in which he references, "I'm not in France, but look how beautiful this is." And by the way, somebody said that this lights cost close to $300,000. No, it didn't. It was only 100, maybe less. Well, we have proof that it was 300 plus installed, right? With everything included. So let's be honest with people. And the reference that I made was because infrastructure, the Central Fire Station needed a roof. And I said, what's priority? We are not going to build a new station anytime soon. So let's at least spend the 120 on fixing the roof on this building, since this is the only central station we have, and maybe the lights at City Hall can wait. Or if you're going to have a guy that's going to be following you around with a drone collecting $560 an hour, when there is somebody else that would do it for $200.
Like me.
So I'm not going to blame the
I'll
guy.
do it for $150.
So, Carlota, I'm not going to blame the guy who's doing the work because you could be charging $1,000. It's the person that hires you that I'm going to be having the beef with.
You usually have to get quotes from different companies and kind of look at what you have for a budget and go that way. I think that's the best way.
The individual who was getting paid that kind of money got very upset with some followers, but they were not attacking you. They were actually upset of who hired you. So you can charge as much as you want.
But you've got to be careful with that, too. When you're going after somebody because they're connected to someone, you are hurt, like with Scott Wood. They went after him because they thought he was connected to Castro, which he wasn't. And they hurt a guy that did nothing to anybody in Lawrence at all. Like they put all their political capital into trying to destroy that guy because they didn't like the person hiring him. And that's wrong, too. Like, you got to call that out on both sides. But let me get back to the city council for a minute, because you talk about transparency, but it's the city council that controls the city attorney. And I'm still waiting for emails that I requested in December. In December, I put in a 10-day request. And here's how the game works. The game works, well, we don't want to give him the email, so we're going to try and charge him $15,000. And then he's got to go through an appeal process. And so I go through the appeals process, and the Secretary of State says to Tim Hooton, that's way too much money. You can't charge him for that. And he goes, okay, how about $8,000? And now we've been playing this game. So it went from $15,000 to $8,000 to $7,000 to $5,000. So now here we are in September of the following year. We're at $2,800. And I said at the beginning, this is exactly how it's going to happen. The number's going to come down, till it is what it's supposed to be, which is like $150. And eventually I am going to get these. The city council has done nothing about that. The city council's done nothing. I shouldn't say that. The council president made some calls. Stephanie made some calls. But the council as a body did nothing, and this guy works for them. Will you call out your council? Will you call out your city, not just your legal council, but your city council, when things like this go on and they sit on their hands and do nothing?
I think that wouldn't happen under my administration. I truly believe that when you have a good working relationship with these individuals, with these elected officials, I think respect goes a long way. And when they feel that you have respect for them, they tend to work with you.
But what if they don't respect you? Like right now, they're not respecting me. I wrote the public records, and I still can't get these documents.
I would do my very best to earn their respect so that we can solve problems like yours without going back and forth, because a lot of times it's things like this that waste money. And we don't have any money to be wasting. Our little resources that we have to continue working on it. We have a police department that we got to struggle to find those 30 officers, close to 30 that were down, and then retain them. We're having a hard time recruiting lateral transfers because people are saying, so we're going to Lawrence to do more work for less money. So we just got to be more responsible, work hand in hand, but city councilors are going to have my support. Let's work hand in hand. We are going to disagree. I'm sure. I've seen it administration after administration. But when you're a decent person, they try to work with you.
How about, why don't we, because Lawrence is such a poor community, why don't we have an ordinance in Lawrence, you and the councils that support you, have an ordinance in Lawrence to make public records free. So that's real transparency, right? We've already paid for the documents because they've been produced by public dollars. The people that are copying the documents and creating the documents, we're already paying their salary anyway. Why should the public, why should a poor community like Lawrence, why should the public have to pay money out of pocket to get documents that already belong to us?
Yeah.
So, Tommy, I would be in favor of doing that. I truly believe that you present that to the people. I think the people will probably say, oh, yes, if you I want the people to have a voice. I don't want to be jamming things down their throat saying, I'm going to do this. I would be so open. I would be attending neighborhood association meetings like I do now. As a resident, I'm a member of Colonial Heights Association. I support others. I go to most of them. I would definitely go to the meetings. I would hear you out. What is it that you want? And if this is something that makes sense, this is something you want, then free for your request, I would support it. But the people have to have a say on it.
That's incredible. That's great.
That's all Tom's been asking for.
And
you know what? Imagine if, like you said, if someone that wants public records, that doesn't have a platform like you do, a paper that you do, and have the connections that you have, what happens to a person like that?
Yeah, they can't get anything.
They can't get
if
anything.
Tim Hooton doesn't want them to have it, or somebody in the administration doesn't want them to have it, and
I
don't mean the mayor's administration, I mean the city council. The city council oversees the city attorney, right? I have another question on the council, and this came to us from a reader who just emailed it to me.
Okay.
They said that and I may be getting a little bit of this wrong because I don't know about this issue, but apparently the city council voted against something called other post-employment benefits, which gives medical benefits to retired city employees. And according to this person, that the council voted against that. As a guy who just retired, how would you feel about that?
I actually would have to sit down and see that and revisit that, because I'm a big advocate for our retirees, for the firefighters, retirees, and I would love to see these guys that they sacrificed 32 years of their lives coming down with diseases and whatnot, sicknesses. I would like to see them be able to obtain some benefits to finish out their career. A lot of times you retire and then you come down with something and you don't have the benefits to be able to move on or pay for it. So this is something that I would be very interested in looking to see where we can find common grounds to actually deal with it.
No, I've been very tough with the city council today, so I just want to follow up by saying this. I like the city council. I think we have a great. No, listen, I do. I think we have a great city council. I just don't always agree with them. And I don't want anybody to think I'm piling on to them or I'm trying to hurt them. I support Giovanni Rodriguez. I support him in his reelection. I think that these are good, decent people in general. But I also know that there's a culture in every city hall, especially Lawrence and Methuen right now, where they're more concerned about process. They're more concerned about their colleagues than they are the outside people and results, right? So you have people that are more concerned about process than results. And that's good if you're a journalist, but not good if you're a city councilor. If you're not good if you're an elected official. I don't want to hear any garbage about how I got leaked documents and how horrible that is, because we have whistleblower laws in this country and in this city, and people should be leaking things to me or other members of the press.
Sorry. And there's also budgets that need to be passed on time. So.
Tom,
or passed at all.
I wanted to say something earlier on, and I know we got caught up.
Yeah, sure.
But today, 9/11, it was something that when you brought up the date for a debate, I was iffy about it because of how much 9/11 means to me and how many people we lost.
And thank you for putting your life on the line too.
And I appreciate that. And on that, I was able to shake hands with most city councilors that were there today. I respect you. I look forward to working with you. But 9/11 is endear to me. I was just probably 5 years on the job. I know that there was a lot of suffering. A number that really stuck out with me was that on that day we lost 343 firefighters, and that since then until last year, 343 other people died of results of work in the pile and stuff like that. So I almost said to Lenita, I said, I'm not sure if I want to do a debate on 9/11 because that's a day that. So I went to the ceremony this morning, and because people want to hear more about the candidates, I took it on. I don't care what the other side is doing. I care that I'm here, and I hope that this means something to you, that I want to be your next leader. A lot of people say he's too nice to win. I said, don't believe that. You're a bunch of nice people that live in the city. Why shouldn't you be led by a nice person? Mm-hmm. So, yes, I'm a family man. I'm a hardworking man. I'm a man of the community. So family and community, you got me. So if you support me on September 16th and November 4th, we can bring the positive change that all of you are hungry for.
I happen to believe that Brian is a good person. I know you don't agree with me.
No, I
happen to think both of you are good, decent, honest, good.
They actually speak very good about one another.
And I really believe, and I said this at the very beginning when both of your supporters started attacking each other, that no matter who wins, Lawrence is very lucky. In every other election that I can remember, it's been a good guy versus a bad guy. And this year, I think we have a good guy versus a good guy. And I know there are people who disagree with me on that. I think Brian has done some good things. And I'd like to ask you, the first question I asked you the last time you were here was, can you find something that you think the mayor has done right, something the mayor has done good, that you agree with him on, that you would praise him on?
Absolutely. So I told the mayor many times, thank you for allowing the processes of this projects, the larger projects that are happening in the city, like the 2 schools and the police department, the police station that are taking place. The fact that they were planned and started by other administrations, I give you credit because you didn't drop the ball and you made sure that they got completed. Just like I'm going to be cutting the ribbon for the police station when we got there in February, and I'm going to give the previous administrations and yourself credit for going through it. I would not be taking credit for the police. Just because it would be my turn to be cut the ribbon, I'm going to give you credit, and you should be doing the same thing with the 2 schools, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes, there is a lot of streets that are being paved. We all know that Chapter 90 comes in, Chapter 70 comes in to do school repairs. So parks look beautiful, streets are being paved, the city doesn't feel safe. But I give you credit for all those things, the parks, the streets, and finishing up those projects that other people started. I cannot give you credit. If you want to take full credit for the Leahy School, then you got to eat the bad also, which is the no parking. If you say that the school was started by somebody else, then you can blame the parking on somebody else. Mm-hmm. But if you want to take 100% of the credit, then you got to own the parking meters as well. And we got to try to find solutions for these teachers so that they can come in to work every morning and not have to worry about, am I going to find a spot? Am I going to get ticketed? Etc. So we have to find an immediate
I was looking for something positive that kind of sounded like a poop sandwich. Like, yeah, I say one positive thing, but 9 negative things.
So I gave him.
He starts with something positive. He gives them the shit in the middle,
right?
And then,
yeah. But there's a reason I asked that question of every candidate that comes on for any kind of debate, and that is that there was a lot of people out there that are hateful and they're closed-minded when they get into a debate. Like Willie, when I asked Willie during his debate, can you say something nice about your opponent? He couldn't, or he wouldn't. And I think
there is always something good about every administration.
Yes.
One thing that I really held against.
But you have to be willing to say it out loud.
One thing that I really held against this guy is that he lost control of his administration. And right now, you're a part-time mayor. I want to be a full-time mayor for Lawrence. If you couldn't make the debate, you could at least send your other half of the mayor's seat, which is Octavian, have him debate. So if you couldn't make it, send him over. He makes double than what you make. Send him to the debate, or at least contemplate or ask the moderator if they will accept that. So I'm not afraid. I'm not going to run.
Why the hostility toward Octavian? This is a good question. A lot of the people who don't like Brian for some reason don't know Octavian Spanner. I've known this guy for 30 years.
And they don't know his experience and the
They
things
have no
he's
idea how
done and
brilliant he is,
accomplished.
and yet they always, even like, and I don't want to call it friends of mine like Rich, or former friends like Rich Russell, or friends of mine like Brenda, or other people who are always dumping on Octavian because he makes a little more money, because for whatever the reason is. But he's not the mayor. Like, he's not the one who makes the decisions. He's the guy that comes in and does a lot of work. And by the way, worth every penny we pay him. The amount of money he's brought into the city just in development alone is millions compared to what we're paying him. So I guess my question is, and I don't want to, I'm trying really hard not to defend the mayor because he's not here, because he should be here to defend himself.
I'm very upset he's not here.
He should be here to defend himself. But I look to people like you to be the grown-ups in the room to say, hey, wait a minute. Like, Octavian's not the bad guy here. If you don't like the mayor for what the mayor's doing, that's on the mayor. Let's not put it on the people on his staff. I understand people don't like Castro for whatever reason. But again, let's go with the mayor. Let's not go after
But do you
the
see
staff.
that I didn't call out Octavian? I called the mayor, and if he couldn't go there, at least send Octavian.
Yeah, but why would
I didn't say anything negative about Octavian.
But
I
why
said,
would a
if you
city?
cannot make
But
it,
why would a
send
city
him.
employee come to represent the mayor in a political?
Because he does it in basically everything. When he doesn't go to the council, he sends Octavian down.
Right, but that's city
So
business. This is a campaign. This isn't city business.
So they can go and campaign. They can go hold sign. They leave their jobs to go campaign. So this is campaigning.
Yeah, they should be leaving their job to campaign.
So
Like during the day, they should be at work. I mean, if they're leaving the job during the day at work to go campaign, they shouldn't be doing that. But anyways,
but I didn't say anything negative about Octavian. I said if he cannot make it, send your senior advisor. That's your right hand man. I won't have that problem because I don't need a senior advisor. I just want to save the city money, so I would have the mayor, a chief of staff, and we go from there.
Yeah, but it's good to Octavian's part. Is a good, what he's doing for the city is.
I love that guy, and it's so crazy when people start like they don't know that I'm friends with him and they start attacking him, right? And I'll get to that in a second. When people start attacking, they don't know that we're friends, and I sit there and then I'll just curiously ask like. But have you ever met the guy? Like, what do you not like about him? And then they go into all these political things that Brian did or his administration did. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not him. Like, it's very easy for people to dump on Jorge Jaime because he's the face of DPW. That guy works really hard. He's doing a lot of good work. And people could say the same thing about Octavian, but he works very hard. He does a lot of good work. And it's kind of like, I liken it to attacking the city council secretary because you don't like the city council, right? It's just not fair. So,
we have Stephanie Infante.
I love her. I love her so
She
much.
said the questioning have been good, even the council jabs. Thank you for putting this on. I recall when Tom did the state senate debate. That was an awesome show as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's our job to do that.
We really have to go because we are a little over. But I want to give you an opportunity. There's a couple of things that have been coming up that you touched on, but you didn't really go into detail on. The schools being taken over back by the city. You got to give the mayor credit for this, right? For the first time since I don't think it was Newton. I can't remember what the other.
What do you mean taken back?
From the state. So the state took over the city.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the school department back when Willie Lantigua was mayor.
That's right.
And now Brian is getting control of it, at least partial control of it back, by making a deal with the state to have half the school committee appointed, half the school committee elected. The half that's appointed gets nominated by the mayor, voted on by the council, so there is a check and balance. Where do you stand on that? What are your thoughts about the school system? Are the kids getting a better education today than they were 20 years ago?
The question is, are they? Because there's been so many things out there, even councilmen that's been criticized heavily by the mayor. Everything that I'm reading lately is like, Jesus, what is really going on here? I guess that I have some serious work to do when we get there, and I'm expecting it anyways. This is why we're talking about audits. This is why we're talking about meetings. When I heard on the radio saying we are about to get the schools back in February, I said, I got to look into this because I haven't heard that. And the people that I talked to said, I don't know where you got that information, but we have nothing. We don't even have a school committee established that we can tell DESI we're set, we're ready to take the schools over. So they said, no, that is incorrect. No one should be saying that we're giving you the schools back in February because we don't know a set date for that. But we're going right now to the process of electing 3 members, and the other 3 that are going to be appointed will be whoever the mayor is. I hope that it's me. You would have a say on those 3 that are going to be appointed. So until that happens, no one should be saying that we're definitely getting the schools back. So I would not give credit on something that I have no confirmation that we are getting the schools back. I hope that that is the goal, the end goal, that we can take control of our schools back when we're ready for it, and I hope that is soon.
Closing arguments, closing statement. The election is Tuesday. I'm sure you're going to be working very hard. I know Lydia is not going to get any sleep between now and Tuesday. She does a trim. By the way, the only reason you still have a shot in this race, and I'm just going to say it out loud. It's true.
He says that all the time. You're taking from him, though.
I'm telling you, the only reason you got a shot against a very well liked, not by the insiders, but by the population, a very well liked mayor. Who is an incumbent and has a lot of money, or at least can tap into a lot of money. The only reason why you still have a shot is because your campaign manager is brilliant, and she is brilliant. I've worked on several campaigns with her and have been amazed at some of the things that she's been able to pull off. Make your final pitch. Anything that I didn't bring up during the discussion that you wanted me to or that I should have, please use this opportunity to do so.
Tommy, Carlota, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be in contact almost face-to-face with the community, with the voters that are paying attention and that are going to be viewing this, whether it's now or later when you guys start sharing it. I am very happy with my team. I have a strong team with Lenita and Chris, Dave, Hector. So we do have a very nice team, Wayne. And we have a lot of dedicated supporters. But the community loves me. So my team is doing their part. The city of Lawrence loves me from end to end, corner to corner, north to south, east to west. They know that I have the best intentions. They know that I always been here. I'm a true Laurentian. They know that I'm not going anywhere, and they know that I need a lot of help. Remember that I couldn't even get a campaign office because everybody was terrified that if they rented to me, what would the current mayor say? And that is sad. And for all the city employees that are terrified right now, don't worry. When we get there, you're going to be able to breathe. You would not have to support me if you don't have to, if you don't want to. Let me earn that respect. But September 16 is the primary. Let's send a message out to this administration that we want change, and let's close it out November 4th. So Juan Manny Gonzalez for mayor needs you. I'm the number 2 on the ballot, so just scroll down once and you can circle that in, and that's Juan Manny Gonzalez, that firefighter, that community activist, that private investigator, that Hugh Lawrence guy, you name it, that coach, that husband, that father, that grandfather, you name it. And listen, I'm at peace in my heart. If I give it my best and it doesn't work, it's because it wasn't meant to be. Maybe God had other plans for me. But I'm going to give it my best. My team is ready. My supporters are excited about it. So I need your support September 16th and then again November 4th. We had the best intentions. I love you guys. God bless.
I have one request for you, and then please hold that. Just one quick request. On election night, I've noticed every single election since the invention of Facebook, candidates are all over Facebook before the election. They're all over Facebook doing selfies the day of the election. They're posting pictures of their signs. Then when the friggin' results come out, nobody posts the results. Even if they win, they lose. I'm sorry. Hey, listen, I'm sorry we didn't win. A shout out to my supporters.
Thank you.
Here's the list. Here's the numbers. So I've got to manually call people or physically go down to City Hall to get election results. Can you please, on a primary night and regular election night, post the results when you get them so that the average person knows that you care about them after the election's over and after they've voted? Wouldn't that be great?
I care.
She's on it already.
Okay. I care for the community, and you are going to see me. I'm going to be up there saying thank you. I'm going to post the results right away. So, yes, you will get the results from me right away, Tommy.
Thank you. That's
and
all I ask.
I'm going to say thank you to everybody that has offered me a platform to come and communicate with the voters. Every single person that has given me a chance to reach out. Thank you.
Will you agree to do a debate on this show after the primary if I can get the mayor to do it?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
We'll do it again. I don't think he will.
Thank you, Manny, for always being a gentleman with me. Even though we disagree on a lot of things,
yes,
we still keep it very professional. I don't know how your minions feel about that, but
I was just going to say that I only wish that your supporters and Brian's supporters would cut the shit. Like, stop attacking people personally. Stop making it personal. This is about politics. This is about who's going to run the city. This is not a race to see who should be Pope. All right. and oh no, honestly, like people who hate Brian, they hate him so much that sometimes they're willing to even sabotage your reputation and your campaign. to say some of the things that they say because people know that they're affiliated to you. Julissa. So I just want to say to both supporters, people who support Brian, this man's a good man. He's an honest, decent, God-fearing man. You can disagree with him on issues. You can disagree with the way maybe he behaves. Brian. And Brian is too. And I think it's just wrong for people on both sides to make this personal. This is not a Antigua versus Dan Rivera campaign. This is two good guys running to support you for the city of Lawrence. And whoever wins, you will be lucky. I want to say one more thing as we roll up to Mel and thank our sponsors.
Jen Pomerleau is here.
Jen Pomerleau, love her.
Sorry. Jandeline Nunez, William Ureña, Gary Robles is here.
Gary Robles.
Oh, yeah. Siga Mayvang is here. And Jack Roy. He said, Rolling Rider Pencil Pen. I don't get it. Is it like an insider?
I Tom, guess. Can I say thank you to
sure
all
you
these
can,
people?
Absolutely.
Thank you to all of you that she just read through the list. But I have to throw this in there. Whether you like it or not, Tom, Julissa has brought a lot of support.
She supports voter fraud, and you should be walking away from her. Shame on you.
No, I understand.
Shame on you for even saying that on my show.
There's a lot of people that actually reach out to me and stuff like that, and people follow who they follow out there. But I honestly have to say that as an independent, I have gotten support from the Democrats, from the Republicans, and I just get along. I'm a people person, and there's a lot of people that are bringing support. And sometimes
he did such a good job, and then he had to blow it at the end. Like, he did such a good
job. I didn't have anything against her until she got like really nasty.
She supported voter fraud.
She got really nasty, and she said some nasty
stuff. All right, we'll let you have the last word. You were doing so good.
Sarah Pettis is here too.
All right, we love Sarah.
Thank you.
Hello, Sarah, and thank you. You're always going to have that, Tom. Both sides of the both candidates are going to have people that I believe what they believe, but I have to say thank you. Anyone that has brought me voters and support, I have to say thank you for that. And, you know, you're going to feel how you feel about people, but
well, it's not about feelings. She supports voter fraud. She supported a child pornographer, and she supported voter fraud. And any candidate for any office should be walking away from her. And I got to be honest with you, I was a little surprised that you said that today publicly when this woman went out and called Fidelina Santiago someone who served with integrity when she committed voter fraud. And
you see the difference how I'm able to say, and publicly, my campaign say, I don't condone voter fraud, da-da-da-da. So just because I'm friends with people, I would not tolerate what other people support. And I would make it public that I don't condone voter fraud. It's too bad that we keep hearing that there is people messing around bringing hundreds and hundreds of mail-in applications. You don't hear my campaign being that on the receiving end of that. So we're staying away from that. We're just knocking on doors, shaking hands, talking to the voters, and that's how we're going to win.
All right. Listen, you're the guy that's got to run, but I got to be honest. I'm going to say it again. I will not stand with anybody who stands with Julissa Nunez who supports voter fraud. That's the problem with Lawrence, is that when our side does it, it's okay. We don't want to condemn anybody. When the other side does it, it's wrong, and everything they do is Adolf Hitler. And I think that's every candidate for every office should be doing what you originally did, which is issue a press release or issue a public statement condemning what happened, but also you should have gone further and condemned the people who did it. That's all. As a friend, I say that. I love you, and I want to see both of you guys do well. But I get very angry as someone who has fought voter fraud for 35 years in Lawrence to see someone do that, sit on the council, have nobody say anything about it, and then have everybody just kind of candy coat and tiptoe around it all and thank the people that are supporting it. It's just wrong on all sides. But I'll give you a chance to defend yourself. I shouldn't have ended on a negative note. I didn't mean to do that.
No, that's all right. He's on a video with Rosalie Gonzalez where she's asking people to call me when you receive your ballot.
Yeah, but that's not voter fraud, though. You can't equate the two.
It's potentially because it's been investigated. So absolutely. And he's saying, I wasn't there. I said, so why is he saying I wasn't there when he actually was there and it's on the video? Is the reason why the elections department is getting calls on it. So you can see how we can shoot one person and not the other. But people that are supporting him are the ones bringing loads and loads of applications.
I think it's apples and oranges, but I want to end on a positive note because Juan Manny Gonzalez is a hero firefighter who puts his life on the line for this community. Also, other communities when they get called for mutual aid. He also is the head and the founder with Wayne Hayes of Heal Lawrence, which is an incredible organization. I encourage everyone to support. Is it heallawrence.org?
Yes.
Heallawrence.org. Please go and do that. You can roll up, Mel. And I want you to consider that both of these men are good men, and that they both do stupid things and they both do great things. And please evaluate them based on the job that they can do. and what kind of people they are, not what their detractors say that they are. Let's thank our sponsors. Thank you, by the way, Intern Girl. You did a great job. You held back a lot today, and I appreciate it.
I did. No, thank you, Tom, for being such a great teacher. I appreciate it.
Let's thank our sponsors, McLennan Real Estate, Century 21, W3ON website design, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office right here in North Andover, AFC Urgent Care. I think we're going to dinner on Sunday with Zaka. Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. Why is he mad? You said Consoli was mad.
He wanted to see Brian here today.
Oh, all right. Okay, he's not mad at me.
No,
we can't have him mad at me. Whatever that is, we got to straighten that out right away.
He needs to come here. We need to have a good laugh with him.
Right.
We always have a good time with him.
Where did we leave off? Clear Path for Veterans New England, JG's Ice Cream, free shout out to them. Tomo and Shaken Seafood, Marston and Son Construction, EIS, Investigation and Gun Training, and the Zany Pesci Law Office. And if you're a candidate, you should be sponsoring us from now till Election Day. Sounds like Melvin Taylor said you got to go home. So go home already.